Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Ify and this is Ify's Beats. Today on my YouTube channel we're going to be talking about UK versus Canada, what country is best to immigrate to, most especially from Nigeria because I'm Nigerian, so I'm going to be giving a Nigerian perspective. And to help me dissect this topic properly, because I haven't actually lived in the UK before, so I'll be terrible at doing good comparisons, is my friend Caris Marie. She has lived in the UK for a year.
Yeah,
in the UK for a year.
year.
Yes, she was there getting her master's, so she has like very recent UK knowledge. It's not from like 2-3 years ago. It's like just in the past 1 year.
Yeah.
So Caris and I and another friend of ours, we were pursuing the Canadian Express entry together from 2019. We wrote IELTS and everything together. Fun fact, I will send Caris contacts. The person will do her own before they do my own. Even to approve my express entry, Caris got 2 weeks before my own was approved. I would not be saying, "Oh God, am I smelling?" Okay. So we basically did everything together. We wrote IELTS on the same day, in the same hall in 2019.
Our ones came out around the same time.
Around the same time. Your own still came out first. But it came out around the same time. Almost everything was very similar timelines. And we actually classmates in school, and she was my partner. We have very similar surnames and we're from the same place in Delta State.
There's something going on. Why
You are
following me?
following me, Caris.
Because it's true. I'm your partner in this. I'm Daniel's partner, but I was more of your partner than Daniel.
Because it's almost as Daniel. I think
Daniel is your mom. Daniel was
depends on
before
how the class was. Maybe the course. Some people drop course.
If you confess,
you're the one.
Confess.
From the village. If I say you're my village, it's flesh. So basically, all three of us went through the long wait. Yeah, so I think that was when you can tell the story by yourself, but I believe it was towards the end of 2021 when we were all waiting. So when I started,
we got frustrated waiting and I started applying for school.
Yeah, so while I was trying to do the other process, which was getting licensed for our profession in the UK, we chose the school pathway. I was pretty fast because I think you started applying to schools in November, right?
Yeah, the funny thing is that I submitted my application on the 29th of October. The deadline for application was 1st of November. And I got admission 15th, offer on the 15th. So it was like within less than a month, within a month's timeline, that was when everything was just straightforward. And it was like an unconditional offer. Just the only condition was to pay the deposit. So it was really, really fast.
Nice. Yeah. So I think by January, already out of Nigeria. So it was very, very fast. So Caris actually got it like few days by the time she landed.
2 days after
landing in the UK.
2 days
the express
after.
entry was approved and all that. So we were both like permanent residents at very, very close intervals. And the good thing is, at the end of the day, you were able to get your masters and you are still back in Canada. Yeah, so it worked out fine. Anyway, we are comparing UK versus Canada. So she's here for the UK perspective, 1 year into immigration. Okay, so the first point, these ones I feel like they're not the most important things. We get to the most important thing at the end. But let's just start with the most basic, which is proximity to Nigeria.
In terms of proximity to Nigeria, definitely UK is closer to Nigeria. Like, I think you can even get a 6-8 hours flight to the UK from Nigeria, which cannot be the case with Canada. It's way longer. Just from UK to Canada, it was about almost 8 hours flight. I think the shortest flight from UK to Canada is 8 hours. Then talk about coming from Nigeria itself, it's way longer. So definitely UK will get a point for that. But if the most important thing is being able to see your family in Nigeria as often as you like, especially those that are migrating without their spouses and children and want to go back often, UK would definitely be the choice.
Okay. It was also proximity related also, which is proximity to other countries. Yes, Canada is close to US, but Canada is a very big country. It's very big. Even from here to Ontario, it's like I think 3 to 4 hours itself. And Ontario is ahead of Alberta. We're in Alberta, by the way.
We're having different time zones within the same country.
So yeah, from the UK perspective, I believe European countries are smaller, they are closer.
Definitely. You can even take a train from England, obviously, England to France. Like, you can take a train from UK to France. That's how it's easy to navigate. And then within the UK, it's very, very easy. Like, nobody is exactly that far from you, because then the train system runs from intercity. One of my trip from Preston to London, I can go to from Preston to London the same day and come back, have a good time in London and still come back the same day. So it's about like 3-4 hours depending on the train I take. There are some faster trains, and depending on the route it takes, but which is not the case here. So in terms of visiting your siblings, visiting friends, and you can have a very good social life in the UK, because even if you have a friend staying in Wales, I've never been to Wales, but if you have a friend, for instance, staying in Scotland, you can easily just go from England and Scotland, plan in a day, plan a short visit, and you won't be fagged out by the time you get there. You still have a good time, then take train back. Like, you can have good social life regardless of where your friends are, and good meeting. It's not like now we can't really visit our friends in Ontario, or I have a family friend in Winnipeg. For him to come here, it's about 14 hours that he had to drive to bring his brother, him and his siblings here. So it's definitely gets the point in that one.
Okay, Canada is very big. It has the second largest landmass in the world, I think, after Russia. So
wow.
Yeah, it's expected that it is stressful to really navigate around the country.
The thing I said when I came here was about the size of the houses. Remember?
Oh, okay, yeah.
The houses, the rooms here are so big. My mom actually calls my room an auditorium. Like, it is that big. But in the UK, it's hard before you get a space as big as you can get. Like, even the smallest room size I've seen here is bigger than an average room size in the UK, because they don't really have that much space. But here, because of the landmass, the space, there is a lot of, it's so big, so you have a lot of spaces to build as much as you want, and you can get new houses. You see newer houses here than in the UK, because they are old houses, brick walls that they've been there a while, so they just renovate inside, keep adjusting the spaces to accommodate the number of people they want. So the space thing, it's a point definitely for Canada.
Canada. In proximity to other countries, UK wins. Then housing, Canada wins.
Canada wins.
So that's like, I think,
in terms of space in housing.
Is weather. Now we're in Alberta, and Alberta gets as low as -50. I think we got -50 this. Yes, yeah, we got -50 this last winter. I think those 2 weeks of -40 to -50. It was horrible. I didn't go out as much anyways, because it was like during Christmas, so I had a lot of off from work. So you would go out and it was like you couldn't breathe. Like, without face mask, it felt like my chest was aching. It was very bad. So we haven't experienced each other's worst winters, like that's UK and Canada. But based on the numbers, we would say Canada is definitely worse. And based on experiences from other people, how low does UK get, like, from your own experience?
Well, the lowest I experienced in UK was actually this last winter, and everybody complained, like it was like an extreme weather. That was the first time that they've had it in a long time, and the lowest I think I experienced was -9.
-9, wow.
-9. But there's a difference between the cold in UK and here. Like, the time I came during the last winter, I noticed that I could tolerate 5 degrees here better than I could tolerate 5 degrees in the UK. So at 5 degrees, I could move around without my jacket. My family, the person I stayed with was the one who encouraged me, try going out without your jacket, just try. Because 5 degrees, I was so scared, knowing how 5 degrees is in the UK. And it was like, just give it a try. And when I took it off, I was good. But 5 degrees in the UK, I cannot try that. Because the air here is a little bit dry. It feels like Hamatan kind of dry. Yes, like feels like Hamatan. But UK is humid, like it's not exactly dry. Why? It's like it has moisture in it, so you tend to catch cold even at a higher temperature compared to that of Canada. So although it's incomparable, because if it's just -9, maybe let's say -9, you can't compare -9 to -50, because maybe the cold that if maybe -9, -13, you could say okay, maybe you feel maybe similar kind of cold, but -50 is way off. But then Canada has cool summer. Please, I'm enjoying the sun. I'm enjoying this sun. This is the hottest I've ever felt since I had to sleep with fan the other day. The hottest I experienced in the UK was actually last year too. That was -36, but that was extreme weather. It was on a particular day. It was like everybody was shouting, like that was extreme. It was just on a particular day that they announced that it was going to get it was 36. It was just on a particular day that they announced that it was going to be an extremely hot day, so everyone should be careful. So that's not like it doesn't get that hot normally. Just last year they had extreme winter and extreme summer. But even at that, I don't think it ever got as high. Like now, it's not even. It's like 18 there. But here we've experienced 28. We've experienced 30 already, and we've not even gotten deep into May or like that. What's the hottest like you've experienced here?
Honestly, I can't remember the figures. I feel like that 28 is usually like the hottest it gets, but it can get really, really hot. That's the thing. Another thing I always tell people is that the figures aren't really a very good representation of what it feels like exactly, because wind actually affects. Like today now, the wind was very bad because we were out for a while, and the wind was very bad. It was very cold. It felt like it was going to rain, so it was really cold. Maybe right now, I don't know if it's still windy. It has been windy for a while. So it gets really hot. I remember last summer there was like extreme heat. There was a point I remember posting online that am I in Abuja? Am I in Canada? Because it was so hot. Another thing is, because Canada is so big, winter experiences can vary in different provinces. Like the same way you are describing the UK cold being humid is the same way some people come and say, oh, the Ontario cold is also humid, because they have large water bodies. So they also, I've heard some people say that too. Like different experiences. Then also we are in Alberta now, and Alberta gets really cold. Winnipeg also gets really cold.
Oh, definitely.
But BC doesn't get as cold, and that's another reason why it's really expensive. So it's not like the weather is uniform.
It doesn't snow there.
It doesn't even snow often. Like when it snows, they go crazy because they are not used to it. Meanwhile, if the snow like expected to be 50 feet in Alberta, we must go to work. Then, remember when someone came from Kelowna in Kelowna in BC, and he was in Edmonton, and was like, that was the height of winter then. Edmonton was dark, it was always grey, gloomy, and he was like, God forbid he can't stay here. I can imagine. He's going back to BC in 2 days. He just came to visit his parents, just want someone to leave. God forbid he can't stay in this place.
But people have really complained about BC too, like that it's really wet, like it's really
they have a lot. Exactly.
Wet,
so
it feels, someone told me it feels like UK, like it's just so wet. The houses, like you see a lot of mold or wow. Like it's wet. And
in general, like Canada is really big. The weather really varies a little bit across the country. It's not exactly the same in all provinces, so don't expect the same experiences. So if you are like seriously considering Canada and the weather is a problem for you, you can choose like warmer provinces. Some people have even told me that, oh, Ontario is like the cold is not as bad. Then somebody in Ontario will be like, no, it's as bad as Edmonton cold. Like so many different contradictory experiences. So it's like the day I'll go out and be like, our cold wants to kill me, and someone will come and say, oh, it's not that bad,
it's not that cold.
Manage.
Oh God, I hated that thing. You see, I'll be be 16, maybe 12, I'll be like, oh God, I'm so cold, I'm wearing jacket, and you're like, oh, I'm boiling. Like, you are boiling. You are boiling.
What is boiling?
You are boiling. It's 12, 10, 8. You're like, you are boiling. What boiling?
Another thing I would say is, if you are coming to Canada and if weather is what's stressing you, I don't feel like it should stress you. Anybody can survive here. I was here alone in the peak of winter, and it's Alberta winter. Alberta winter is bad.
Throw on more jackets.
Exactly. Wear your layers. I did not die. So you can manage the winters. You can just pick a province that is less harsh. It might be a more expensive place, but I guess the weather will not kill you there. So I think this one is pretty simple, which is time difference. As I said earlier, time zones are different within the country itself. But for example, now we're in Alberta, and the time zone difference from here and between here and Nigeria is like 7 to 8 hours. So, which is pretty much. So if you have businesses, you need to keep in touch with Nigeria regularly. It's going to be very difficult with this time difference. So if you are someone that is planning to keep your businesses in Nigeria running and japa to, I wouldn't honestly advise Canada.
It will be difficult to keep up with, because when you need to be sleeping,
you are working, and then when you wake up, like, Nigeria has gone so far. But UK is like 1 hour difference.
UK is the same time in until the time zone change. So in winter, I think it's winter here. It's the same time. Then it changes to 1 hour ahead in summer.
Yeah.
Or the other way, I can't.
And difference wise, UK would take the point for being similar to Nigeria.
Yeah, it's easier to keep up with your people in Nigeria.
Exactly. Then for guys that watch sports, people that follow football, it's way easier if you're in the UK. Follow football from Canada. You'll be at work, they'll play match.
You don't even need, it's not even like that hard. If you can even go to the stadium and watch.
Exactly. It's true. That's a major point.
That is in the UK. Within my time in the UK, I've gone to because we were staying close to Manchester Stadium, so I'd gone to Etihad Stadium. I didn't even know that Man City was called Etihad before. Gone to Manchester United Stadium. Like, you get to see, if you actually want to be in the stadium itself and watch the sports, although the tickets are not so easy to come by, but you can do it if you want, or if you are such a die-hard fan and you want to get it.
So if sports is very
social life,
exactly.
Social life, just give it to UK.
So if sports is very important to you, social life
as a whole, UK has it.
Exactly. So the next point is diversity. So in general, I think the number one point to mention is that because of how close UK is to Nigeria, there is a larger Nigerian community in the UK. And then another thing is the ease with which people get to enter UK. So anybody can, the way you're able to get admission and leave so fast, anybody can actually do that. So I believe UK has a larger Nigerian community. For Canada is pretty good. I think most of the people I know always say they're going to either Ontario, or in Alberta they're going to Calgary. I haven't experienced a lot of places, so for me it's like I'm not sure how to compare it. Based on what I've heard, Ontario is great for diversity, Calgary is great for diversity, and then UK is also great for diversity, not necessarily our current city.
But in the UK you see more black people here, because I've seen more of other people, other races, and not as much. I've met black people here, but not relative to the UK.
So that's
it's not even close.
So I guess that's a great comparison for the whole thing. So if diversity is a big problem for you, then obviously UK will take the point over Canada again. But this one is something that I noted down because we've been talking about it, which is clothing. You say, clothes are expensive in Canada. So please tell us.
Well, now that I've really settled, I don't exactly think that. Much. I don't think that way as much, because the problem is that I was looking at the figures and not like the exchange rate. So when I convert, then I was like, what if I go to shops, like you will see clothes, if it depends on where you want to shop.
Okay.
If you want to shop, like, everywhere, even in Nigeria, everywhere they have different kinds of shop. They have places where you can get cheaper things, like you can go to Primarks in UK if you want to get things regardless of you want to get cheaper stuff. You don't really care, you just want to get cheaper stuff. You see clothes of £6, you see clothes of £7. And my workout clothes, of course, I didn't really care about the quality. All I needed was just to work out. It was really, really cheap. Both of them were under, I don't think it was even up to £15 for both of them. But yeah, when you come here, you see, I'm seeing figures for workout, like, like, I was looking at the figures, not the sign. Then at the end of the day, like the first day I went to buy food stuff, in a month in Canada, in UK, in a month I could spend, because it was just me, and I like to buy things in bulk. So I could buy after I've bought like the main thing from in a month, I could just spend like maybe £100 or £50 on food, and that's okay. But that day when we went to buy food stuff, and I was looking at what I bought, and I was like $200. It was like $200. Like, how?
It sounded like £200.
In my head, it was like £200. But then when I got home, and I was like, okay, well, it's still relative to what I would have spent for this same thing in UK. That the second time, there was a time I went to buy some other things, and £72, and I looked at what I bought, $72. I looked at what I bought, I was like, Jesus Christ. But then when I got home, I realized that wasn't even up to £50.
Okay.
So which means that it's relative. So it was the figures I was looking at first. But then if you convert it, now I'm not settled. It was when I came, don't worry.
Yes, we are very unsure of that on that one. We will not give points to either side, since
I think there is very
relative. It might be exchange rates.
Yeah.
So now to the most important point. This is the most important point, because it is the reason why you are japping in the first place. So all these other things you have been saying, I will call them they are not the main thing, because you did not leave your home, your family in Nigeria and come to either Canada or UK to be discussing is the weather this, is the weather not this.
You already know that life is going to be different.
There's always going to be a change. So the main thing is pathway to settlement. Now, I was initially going to call this pathway to citizenship, but I said settlement, which is more like all encompassing of different kinds of like papers. Now, so both of us are here as permanent residents, and we basically got our permanent residency directly from Nigeria. Although one of the things that made it really easy was because we're both professionals, so it helps. If you're a professional in express entry, it's like really great. That was one of the reasons I was honestly very interested in pursuing it, because I was like, already I'm at a natural advantage, so why don't I use this natural advantage? I'm below 30, I'm a professional, so why don't I get all these points and get my Canadian citizenship as soon as possible. So direct when it comes to, and that was another reason I actually wanted to make this video, because when you came to Canada and you started telling me about people's experiences in the UK, I was honestly shocked. And it's because I had never really looked into UK, because after I abandoned that licensing process, I stopped wanting to think about UK. So I never really looked into it. I was never planning to go as a student, because I really thought about the monetary cost, and I left it also. So I never really realized that there was lots of struggles in the UK. So until she came and explained a lot of the struggles that people are going through in the UK, I didn't even realize that it was that bad. So that was why I was like, okay, I should make a video on this, and you can speak more and inform people who are like really, because people are desperate to leave Nigeria because of the economic situation. Everybody wants to japa, and everybody is using the fastest routes. Okay, this is another point for UK, which is fast speed.
But I don't think the speed now in Canada is that bad anymore. Maybe during COVID that dragged on.
The thing is, it's not even just speed. When you get admission in Canada and you get in UK, if you do everything right, you don't do, and because it's so common, most of the times people get it right, you most likely get your visa approved and you can leave, like the way you were able to go in the short period. But in Canada, even if you get everything right, there is no 100% guarantee that you get visa. Honestly, it's not as like guaranteed. I feel like if UK is doing 96%, Canada is probably doing 70%. So it's not everybody that's applying, and you still have to, they consider courses. There's when I know they do that in the UK too, but I think they consider it more here in Canada. I didn't come as a student, so I know my knowledge is very vague. But I believe at the end of the day, UK speed is crazy. I don't even think
it's very fast.
I don't even think you can do Canada in 2 months.
You can even get your visa within 1 week. I think there's even a day super priority visa.
Oh wow!
Okay. You can get your visa back within a day but you have to pay
for it. Money killer.
You have to pay. Everything is money.
So I think before I let you speak and tell us the actual real UK experience, because a lot of people don't have this information. They are just saying, oh, I want to japa, and everybody's taking the UK route. But I think it's important that people have all this information at their fingertips so they can make really informed decisions. I'll just speak briefly on Canada because we already have that, and I know that from experience. Canada has a very smooth path to citizenship. I don't know all the details for students. I'm sure that people who went from being from student visas to permanent residency visas, they will be able to. There are many videos on YouTube, but they'll be able to give you like really good information. I can give you the express entry information, federal skilled worker, even PNP. I have a little bit of knowledge. You can come from Nigeria into this country as a permanent resident directly. You can come as a student. I've never heard of anybody that came in as a student, their admission was okay, and they went back to Nigeria without getting their PR.
I've not heard of that.
Everybody was able to achieve their citizenship very like they were able to figure it out.
Some even get it. I think if your course is 4 years, you are even more eligible to
that. Okay, that's if they do undergrad and not master's. So like it is really, really very possible. But I think in general, Canada, like almost everybody I've met, in fact everybody I've met has been able to find a way to permanent residency, and finally become citizens. It's straightforward. Information is there. Many people have done it. Blah. So and the most important point is all you have to do is to live here as a permanent resident for 3 years, and then you get to apply to become a citizen.
I don't think it's just permanent residence. I think
it's not even just permanent resident. As a student, also they count. I think for students and work permits, they count it. 2 years equals 1 year. So unlike us that stay 1 year is 1 year as permanent residents, I think if you've stayed here as a student and work permit, they calculate 2 years equals 1 year. So by the time they are entering their permanent residency phase, I think they just need to spend about 1 year or so to finally be able to apply for citizenship. So they don't even have to stay the full 3 years of permanent residency before they enter that phase. So generally, like, it's a straightforward thing. 3 years, you have your passport, you can travel anywhere you want to in the world.
Everywhere. Even then you can enjoy the UK side.
Exactly. So now this is where my information has finished.
In the UK, first of all, there are 2 pathways after school. So you can either get sponsorship, like get a work that can sponsor you, which is kind of easier in the healthcare pathway, like for healthcare professionals. Like for us now, if we're integrating, it's very, very easy for us to go through the pathway you were already using before, through getting your license and all. Pathway is through activating your post-study work visa. So now post-study work visa allows you to, it lasts for 2 years. You have to pay £2,000 to be able to activate it. So it allows you to search for work within that 2 years, to work without sponsorship within the 2 years. So you can actually work for any provider, any employer, but they don't need to sponsor you within just that space of 2 years. But then it's hard to get the sponsorship because most people, but even this post, after the 2 years, you start looking for who to sponsor you.
You said earlier, so Canada has a straight path to settlement. So from what Caris has explained, I'm going to be posting a full video on that explanation, but there are basically 3 paths to getting settled in the UK, and they are not really easy. You can watch more on that video. If it's already posted by the time I'm posting this one, I'm going to link it up so that you can see it up and click on that. So if you want to get more information on the settlement pathway, especially through school. Oh, this is specifically for people who went through school. I'm sure if you went through tech, the tech
you already
visa,
have the settlement part. That's already
exactly,
settlement
already
part.
settled.
There's nothing
there's
remaining.
there's no points there.
As in,
Yeah, basically. So I think from all we've listed, I honestly say UK has more points. I don't know why we're in Canada, but
because we can settle.
we can settle.
Easier.
But the most important point for non-professionals, honestly, is settlement. We as professionals, healthcare professionals, had the option of actually being in the UK. We are not there currently. That's personal reasons. But if you are looking at settlement wise, which is the most important reason for leaving Nigeria, Canada has it. But for all the other things we've mentioned, social life, which Caris has said, you said you miss it, Abi. Go back now. Winch.
There are things you have to sacrifice. At the end of the day, it's a bigger picture.
There's a bigger picture.
It's the bigger picture. And we'll build the social life.
It's true, and I've seen a lot of people when they say, Canada is lonely. They'll say, it's you that is lonely, it's you that is dry.
Honestly.
People are going out, people are having fun.
I've not been lonely since I came here. I've even barely spent a full I've barely spent a full week like in my own house.
Yeah. But I think you're already at an advantage, because a lot of times when people are saying this, they are saying it from a point of they are coming to a new country without a lot of people. And here, because people have 2 jobs, trying to catch up with people is not easy. Once people are settled, it's not, I don't know how to explain it.
You have a point, because then as a student you are going to a school community where a lot of Nigerians are applying to schooling, so you will definitely meet students, and then you are restricted to work 20 hours, so you have time on your hands. So that's another thing
to consider.
That's another thing. You have time on your hands to meet up. People meet in class, even if you don't meet other days. So after class, me talking about social life, funny enough, almost everything happened after class. So after class, we come out and take pictures. Everybody sit down, maybe plan outing and we just stroll and so it's mostly because you are in something that already brings you together. That's where the social life starts from. So
and I think also it's true. Another thing is, that's why when I made a video talking about my experiences in Canada and telling people that they should connect with people with similar experiences with them, is when you come in as a permanent resident already, you are sort of cut off already. You are the ones trying to make connection. When you come in as a student, you automatically are forced to make connection because you can't survive as an island. Those are the differences. This is just to help you make an informed decision. I feel like no matter how much, because when you see videos online, you see someone say, no, UK is Canada, there's someone will jump up and say, no, it's Australia. So there's always going to be differences. It's honestly a personal thing. So just hear what we've said, know it's from our personal experiences, and we're different human beings. You might come here and your experience is completely different. And like the way Caris has a lot of people she knows here already, even before coming, I didn't have that. So it's like completely different experiences. People are different. So just have that in mind when you're making your decisions, and your decisions are fueled by different things. So people are more desperate than others to japa.
If you want the fastest route,
we all know it's
UK school. UK school is fast. Well, if your main aim is staying for the long term without having headache of worrying,
Canada.
You can
always just start with Canada while you're in Nigeria.
But some people might be lucky, just integrate, really just have an easy run in the UK. It's just your luck.
But you can't make all your decisions based on luck. And the funny thing is that even, as I said, there are still many other countries. There's US. People are going to US.
Sweden.
Oh my God.
There's Sweden.
Countries are many. It's not only UK and Canada. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you want more information about how to settle in, like the settlement pathways through using the school master's route in UK, don't forget I have a video on that. Caris gave a very detailed explanation on that in that video. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe. If you have more questions, you can always ask them in the comment section. If you want me to make a video on anything in particular, if you want me to invite Caris again, she has entertained you and you want her to talk more, let me know. Thank you very much for watching this video. We really appreciate. Bye bye.